I'm Christian Abbott.
I'm Nathan Lavender.
I'm Sean Abbott.
And this is the Red Mist Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the Red Mist Podcast, Season 2, Episode 5. The Texas Terry Labonte, Number 5, Kellogg's Chevrolet of Team Hendricks episode. Nate, you like that?
I do. I do.
I like that.
The NASCAR Iceman.
One of the better, yes, Texas Terry. Yep. And one of the better paint schemes and sponsorships in NASCAR. Need more of that. Anyways.
Very iconic.
Right, very iconic. On tonight's episode, we're going to discuss IMSA, the 24 Hours of Daytona, a fantastic race and a kickoff to, I guess, as folks like to call it, the golden era of sports car racing. But I'm going to just say a new era of sports car racing, and what a start it was. And then we'll have a couple of news items we'll talk about that broke during the IMSA race weekend, and let's just delve right into it. The race overall, fantastic. GTP exceeded expectations. 7 of 9 cars finished. 4 cars on the lead lap in GTP. People were predicting doom and gloom because of the newness of the cars.
They were battling throughout the entire race.
Yes, they were.
Yep.
Yeah, they were. It was and it was a mixed battle. I think the only car or manufacturer that really wasn't in it was BMW, but they knew that kind of going in. So
yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised by
how good it was.
How good it was. And it was. I'm not surprised. With the outcome of the race with Shank winning, because basically Shank is Shank or Meyer Shank. They just go for it.
Yeah,
they don't care.
Well, I think I was. Well, Acura shocked me only because they didn't have the amount of testing going into the race. I figured Porsche would have been at the front, just based on the testing. However, I think as the race unfolded, I started to kind of question, well, what kind of testing have they done, and what problems didn't they disclose?
And I think I think what played into Acura's hands was, again, just the complete thoroughness that Acura / Honda HPD in Torrance, California, puts into the development of their race cars, in their Indy engines. Same thing. The reliability of those engines. They're very focused forward in terms of making sure that the cars finish, and they built a car to finish. Acura has always been known from a reliability standpoint. That's what they're known for, and I was very impressed by them. I was equally impressed by the Cadillacs.
Oh yeah.
I think those cars are definitely going to be contenders throughout the season. I think Porsche will probably. I think that was a good point that you brought up. Like, what kind of testing they did? They did. I mean, it was a ton of testing in terms of mileage and stuff, reliability, mileage. So don't know if they were running to certain paces, what they were doing. But again, it's a very technology-driven car. They all are. But in watching the Racer.com one-on-ones with each car, I would probably say of the current manufacturers that are in IMSA in the LMDH category, I would say Porsche and BMW are probably the two most advanced. I mean, technologically advanced cars. Followed by Acura, and then followed by Cadillac. And I'm not knocking Cadillac. It's just they do theirs with a little bit different approach.
Yeah, well, and especially considering theirs was the only naturally aspirated motor,
right. So you don't have turbocharging issues.
Less complexity to begin with on that end. So I mean, but that's also not. You can't knock the Acura in that regards either, because both cars are on a Dallara chassis.
Yep.
So, no, sorry.
Or No, Acura's on the Orica chassis.
That's right.
Cadillac is on the Dallara chassis, as
And BMW.
is BMW. Yes.
Sorry.
Yep. No, that's fine.
But point still that
Right.
the BMW is somewhat complex versus the Cadillac
Yeah.
isn't, yet built by the same chassis
But
manufacturer.
overall, great to see 9 cars out there.
Yeah.
And it's just, where do we go from here? I think,
Sebring.
Sebring, right? Which is that is gonna be an endurance test.
Yes.
Sure will.
Well, and I mean, not that these teams haven't been doing a lot of their testing.
That's where you go.
either. So, I mean,
Right,
Ferrari was there
that's
last
their
year.
hot for testing.
Yeah, I know. Ferrari was there the week before Daytona.
Yeah.
Testing. I was kind of bummed. I was kind of hoping the Ferrari would make just a show appearance.
yeah.
It would have been nice.
Yeah.
But because yeah. It probably didn't want to overshadow.
The 296 Ferraris in GT3 made a good appearance.
Hey, they made an appearance. I'm not expecting anything out of them until next season, really, because it's a radically different car than what they brought out before. It's totally different.
Well, and I guess this kind of gets into how do you play the BOP game?
Yeah,
too.
yeah. Porsche got
Yeah.
hosed
Yeah,
on that.
but I mean, if you,
we'll see.
I mean, a good example for me is Ford. Their first year in GTE or GTLM.
They sandbagged.
Yeah, sandbagged, Daytona, Sebring, and then by the time they got to Le Mans,
Right.
they were just
Suddenly fast.
Yeah, suddenly so fast and so reliable.
Amazing.
So, I don't get me wrong. I know every team has
It
their
really
issues,
does.
but everyone in there is playing the BOP game.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I think Porsche kind of got hosed, just personally, because they were way off.
But it's also somewhat.
And we're talking
good.
GTD class.
Yeah, this is GTD. So, but that's also somewhat good because it basically told the teams if you sandbag,
right.
you're screwing yourself.
You're going to screw yourself. So,
yeah,
I guess.
So, which
point.
isn't a bad message to send either.
Right.
But obviously, like all of these cars are different, so you have to kind of level them at some point.
But it was amazing to see 61 cars on the grid. I mean, that field was deep.
Yeah.
I just every class was deep. The only class that turned out to be a cakewalk was LMP3, which is kind of the class that doesn't turn into a cakewalk, but it had some reliability issues. So
I think that's the way they always have been,
Well,
especially for
when
these long endurance races.
when the 74 Ranch Riley went out, they're one of the stalwarts. So that kind of
But I think that's kind of the exciting thing about that class too,
Yeah.
because even I forget which was the last one to have reliability problems, but they went from the lead to then being like 15 or 17
Right.
laps down, whatever it was. But up until that point, didn't have any issues. Came in for a routine pit stop and then couldn't go.
Yeah.
So I mean, from that aspect, it didn't look close, but it was pretty much a game
So
of like
that
who was
was-
going to blow up next.
That was like really the only class that didn't battle throughout the entire race. Every other class was battling until the bitter end. I mean, I know GTD, I think it was kind of like 10 seconds.
Yeah, GTD was a bit more spread out than GTD Pro.
Well, overall GTD. I'm just talking GTD.
Oh, yeah.
I'm done with this GTD Pro and GTD. I know we have the gentleman drivers, but
Right.
but the way that field over an endurance race, it's the GTD car with the AM driver is capable of winning overall in class. And
Yes.
they did it at Daytona.
And
Yep.
the
Yeah. Well, in the heart of racing, Aston Martin.
Which
Well,
those
and
guys
the-
are not slouches.
the misconception that I went into Daytona with was I thought they were all the same cars with all the same BOP applied, and they're
Right.
not.
right.
So
GTD
GTD
Pro has a different BOP than GTD with the AM driver.
Yes, which I don't know. I don't know if that's
It's going to get
good or
work.
not,
It's
yeah.
look, BOP's a work in progress throughout the season.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not arguing that GTD shouldn't be ahead of GTD Pro. I don't care how they finish. If you want to have classes split up within a class, then fine.
I don't.
because
I like
because
it.
what is it? GT World Challenge.
Yeah.
That series does it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So and it doesn't matter. You just everyone runs out and you just have a different pairing, and you can and even the AM drivers, if they want to run in the pro class, they can. Like it doesn't.
Well, there were teams that switched to the TGM.
Yeah.
They switched from the GTD AM class to the GTD Pro class, and the reason for that was that they were a kind of heavily laden AM driver team. So what they played was they played the game, and their game was we're going to play it to the sense that we don't have to rely on our AM drivers driving as much, because the driving for the AM driver in that class is a lot less than what it is if they were in the GTD AM class.
Yeah.
So that's how they gamed it. I have no problem with teams doing that. There's plenty of options to do it. You got to change your car for the BOP, but that's fine. But, it's all what teams want to do. And it was like some teams wanted to go for the outright win. Some teams wanted to do whatever. At the end of the day, a GTD car with an AM driver won overall, first in GTD AM. We had a GTD Pro car second, and then we had a GTD AM car third, albeit with 3 fantastic pro drivers in it, and an AM driver who has driven for a long time in IMSA and in that class. So
Ben Keating?
No, that was Magnus Racing
With John Potter.
John Potter, team owner.
The John Potter.
The John Potter.
Yeah.
Andy Lally, Spencer Pompelli, and Nicky Team.
Yeah.
So, it was, that was good stuff. And but the battles within the class everything was good,
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not going to complain about that.
Well, I mean, for the Corvettes, it was a Sunday drive.
Literally. Care to explain, Christian?
Well, I mean, when you can, drive around in first or second place with one hand on the wheel for half the lap,
and give it the old whoop woo,
as
you go around giving your fingers. So that was pretty good.
Yeah.
So, but I think overall, I was pleased with the race. I really was.
Yeah.
I think it definitely is I'm going to say a great start to the new era for IMSA. I'm very excited to see what's going to happen at Sebring, because Sebring is just such it's a beast.
Car beater upper.
Yeah, Nate, you can speak to it.
I do. I do have some laps there, but I got to say it's just a very bumpy track.
Yep.
You feel like you're milking a cow in turns 1 and 2.
Right.
Not 1 and 17, not turn 2.
No, 17 is a
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see who's, of course, the 24-hour race at Daytona is, a reliability test, but I think this is going to be a true reliability test based on how bumpy and. Yep. I mean, this track is just straight up not smooth.
Well, I mean, it's not just a engine reliability. This is a true component reliability.
Yeah, this is a
of
car.
Like which car is really built,
and also
built well.
driver fatigue comes into play.
Yeah, for sure.
But Daytona. Look, I'm not knocking 24 hours. I've seen it. I've been there a few times. To it, it's a lot easier to do it. Well, I shouldn't say easier. It's a lot more driver friendly now, even though there's a ton of cars on the track, because the fact that the track is fairly well lit up.
Yeah, lit up.
In the sense that
repaved.
It's lit up. Repaved, it's lit up. Back in the day, in the 80s, when I went, it wasn't lit up. And it was, you go to you came off the, I don't even think the pit's straight. I think the only lights were in the pits, if I remember correctly. There might have been some lights on the front straight as they came through the tri-oval, but when they dipped down into turn 1 there, it was like belching flames, and off into the darkness you went, and then down into the horseshoes and all that. So, and then out onto the banking, NASCAR's 1-2, and I went one year, there was no bus stop back there. So a 935 Porsche nose to tail was pretty exciting. It's a great way to start the season. IMSA put on a great show. The precursor race that they had, the 2 Mazda MX-5 races, were fantastic.
Oh my god!
Yeah. Did you get to see him, Nate?
They were just all on top of each other, and it was like a 4-wide finish.
The best one I thought. Well, they were both great races. The Thursday night race, race that started at 5:00 went into the night. It was kind of cool because they had the lights on and stuff. It was wild.
And that was similar to that Porsche Cup race that we saw down in Coda that one year.
Yeah. So. Again, just a fantastic race, and as Nate said, I mean, it was pack race, and they were bump draft. I love you can't bump draft. I'm just like, who cares? Just let them bump draft. I mean, seriously, like it was fine. No one was getting, whatever. But and then they had the tee off race on the early morning race on Friday, and then we had the Michelin Pilot race. The TCR race was like somebody pulled the pin out of a hand grenade. Because everybody was blowing up in that, literally the Alfa Romeo.
I forget who I was texting, but I was like, I like watching the Alfa because
I love the Alfa.
because they either win or they blow up.
Yeah, it's winner destruct. Yeah, something happens. It's fantastic.
And then shortly after I sent that message,
it was a heavy
self-destructed.
hit. It took a heavy hit.
No, it was not a good hit.
Yeah, the Audi guys won. The Hondas, though, ran into some weird issues. They had like I think there were 4 Hondas in the race. So LA Honda World finished second with one car, and then their other car, which sat on the pole with Eversley and Pombo, that car was definitely in the mix.
Yeah.
And then they had a power steering issue, which that sucks.
Yeah.
Because it's a front-wheel drive car, and without power steering, it's like driving a snowplow. I mean, it's impossible. And then 2 of the other Hondas had the same problem, and then one they fixed it, went out, and then it broke. The drivetrain in the front broke. So basically, the three of the Hondas went out like right away. I shouldn't say right away, but towards the mid part of the race. So, the Audis kind of played the game and just kind of hung around and came through with the win. So, and then the Honda finished third. The GS category was there was a lot of NASCAR talent there, Nate.
Yeah. And look, I got one thing to say.
What?
Okay, I loved the battle with Jerome Bleekemolen and Zane Smith.
Oh yeah,
I need more of that. I need Zane Smith in IMSA. I do.
Well,
because I thought that was just some amazing racing.
Yeah, I think it was. I agree. It was great racing. I think one of the advantages to the guys that come over from NASCAR. First off, they are driving the Multimatic factory Fords.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
No, I get that.
Okay.
I get that.
So it's not like they're not driving a Red Mist Racing prepared Ford Mustang.
It would still win.
It would. We do all right. We would do all right. But when you have Multimatic and that's fine. I think
like the. Would you say it's the Penske of GS?
At Daytona, yes.
Okay.
When they come to Lime Rock, what happens?
Oh God, no.
They run out of brakes.
Yeah.
And that's been a Ford thing at Lime Rock forever.
But that track doesn't suit that car.
No,
just in general.
Which gets me back to the point.
Yeah.
What track would suit the Ford Mustang the most?
Le Mans.
No, Daytona. Daytona. So I'm not.
Was the first
and I'm not taking away from these. I'm not taking away.
Sorry. A drag strip probably would be
right.
better.
I'm not taking away from the driver talent because
you guys. NHRA races.
What? What are we talking?
No,
NHRA.
I said drag strips would probably be better for
the Mustang's good in a straight line, and it's fine. Yes.
Yeah.
The battle that Zane Smith had with Jerome was good.
Yeah.
Jerome was. I mean, granted, the GT4 Porsche is great, but it doesn't have it just doesn't have the grunt that the Mustang has.
No, but at the end of the race.
At the end of the race, there was a Porsche coming that was driven by somebody. Spencer Pumpelli. But I think the Mustang was starting to run out of brakes. So I think, if that was a 6-hour race, I don't think that Mustang would have been there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, it was
a 4-hour race for anyone.
4-hour race, and we had the Multimatic Ford with Zane Smith and Harrison Burton finish first. Mm-hmm. Spencer Papelli and the Porsche finished second, and Haley Deegan and her co-driver. What NASCAR guy was her co-driver? Nate.
I think it's her teammate.
Oh, from Thor Sports? I thought that's Zane Smith.
Ben Rhodes?
It was Ben Rhodes. Yeah.
No. Oh, it was Ben Rhodes.
It was Ben Rhodes. So Thor Sports had three of their guys. Two. No, because Haley's Thor Sports.
Yeah, she's there.
Ben Rhodes is Thor Sports, and isn't Zane Smith Thor Sports?
No. He's front row motorsports.
Oh, he's front row.
Oh,
all right.
Yeah. So.
And I was kind of hoping I was kind of hoping that Harrison Burton was Warburton's son, but he isn't.
No.
He's Jeff Burton's son.
No, that's Jeb Burton.
Is Warburton?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And yeah.
And
so
why is Jeff Burton the mayor as opposed to James Hinchcliffe, who is the mayor?
I don't know. I think he was like someone that was like just kind of like orchestrated what NASCAR should do in the garage. But
yeah, well, we'll get to the TV coverage in a bit.
I'm sorry, I missed that we have the, what is this, 2010 Le Mans?
Yeah, Le Mans on, yeah.
But in the pit lane, they had just a full L-shaped row of photographers just sitting there waiting for the Audi to come in.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't feel like there's that many people down there in the pits.
No, but I just think we need to go back to no pit lane, and we have thousands of people just walking aimlessly in the pits. I like that. I saw some 1980s Formula One race, and it was like they had Alain Prost or somebody pitted with a Ferrari. It's like fantastic. Yeah. Anyways, we need to go back to that. None of the guys had fireproof suits on. This thing.
It's just t-shirts.
T-shirts, shorts,
helmet.
Changing helmet, changing tires. It was fantastic. I love it. Anyways, more to it.
The way it should be.
Yeah, if the guy's smoking while he's fueling the car, it's fine.
No, who cares?
Anyways,
I can't wait for
no fire hazard at all.
Can't wait for Le Mans this year.
No fire hazard. So, so again, the support races were fantastic.
Yeah.
So, we got great weather for the race weekend.
Unfortunately, no. Well, there was rain for practice, but
yeah, I don't honestly, with these cars this year, I wouldn't want rain because that would have just.
You want rain for Sebring?
No, I don't want. I'd like to go. I kind of like to go rain without this season, just because I like to get the cars to get reliable. Mm-hmm. I know rain helps the reliability, but I think it would be fantastic if they could just run and improve so that next year it's even better. I mean, next year I expect the lap record for qualifying to fall.
For qualifying
at Sebring?
At Daytona.
For qualifying?
Yes. They were only 1.something seconds off, 1.4 seconds off the track record for qualifying.
Oh! I thought you meant the distance record.
Oh no, the distance record. No, they weren't even close.
No,
there were too many yellows.
Yeah.
The problem with the problem right now is they throw a yellow to get a car off the track.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to, if the car's in a bad spot, that's what they do.
Yeah.
So, things like that. So that was kind of tough to. That the distance record you need that has to be all the stars align, and it'll take care of itself. Again, it comes out after the race that the Acuras, both of them, were dealing with issues throughout the race. The Meyer Shank guys were having a gearbox issue, which was kind of a oil leak too. Mm-hmm. The Wayne Taylor guys, similar thing. They didn't have the gearbox issue. They had more of a oil issue that they were having. So some kind of thing. So I expect that those cars will get torn down. Things will Acura, the HPD guys will find the root of the problem. Things like that. I think going into Sebring right now, my personal opinion is I think Cadillac is probably sitting in the best position because honestly I don't know. I didn't really see any issues with those cars throughout the race.
No, and it was like all three of them still made it to the finish.
Yeah, the Action Express guys did have a couple issues. I think they got hit during they got hit during a caution or something. So that they had to come in and change some stuff. But I think Cadillac, I'm looking to them. That's my early favorite for Sebring.
So the only, I'm probably just gonna hold out on Porsche because I do
because
like
the amount of testing they did there.
Well, the amount of testing, but I do genuinely like that car. So I think that's probably just my pick. But I mean I think the other thing too is at one point during the last round of restarts from the cautions at the end of the race, the Porsche was on fire.
It was
for pace.
It was quick.
So that's where I don't know.
Pretty quick.
I don't know if they just opened it up and just decided to go.
Could have
Throw caution to the wind. I mean, it was met very. It was done very briefly because soon after they had their electrical issues.
The post-race interviews interviews and stories that I saw was that Acura had given the go-ahead for both teams to choose what style they wanted to do the race in. Mm-hmm. Shank and their team decided that they wanted to go for it.
Yeah.
So they were in it. They were basically running it till it broke.
Yeah.
I think Wayne Taylor probably took. They did their usual tremendous strategy thing, which is they just hang around, mm-hmm. and then it's like when you get they hang around. They hang around for the first 7 hours, and mm-hmm. then when it gets to after midnight, that's when they go for it and they attack. And I mean the lineup they have is. They got quality guys in that car. So,
because Albuquerque said at the post-race interview that the car was on fire during the night, but then whatever change that they made before the race, or even when they had their issue and they had to pull in the garage, they made an adjustment and it just didn't work when the track heated up during the day.
Yeah. So again, they'll learn. Yeah. So there's a test at Sebring mid-February mm-hmm. where we would be there. So I think it was just a fantastic start to everything. I'm sure people are like, BMW. I'm like, look, their car was probably the last car mm-hmm. that got rolled out.
It was.
I think this year is a complete learning year for BMW, and I think if they can grab a couple podiums here and there, they'll be happy.
Yeah,
I think they're focusing on Le Mans, and I think they're focusing on IMSA for next year. Because
IMSA then and WEC
because WRT will be bringing the car on. Yeah. So then they'll have 4 cars on track, and the data that gets shared, because they are both the same car, they're both LMDH cars, will be immense.
Because Cadillac brought
their WEC car ran in
the 24.
The WEC car is the Bamber car.
Yes, the O2.
Right. So that car will be going overseas to run in WEC.
Well, it'll stay stateside for Sebring
because we have Sebring. So Cadillac will run, instead of running 3 cars, they're going to run 2 cars because one car will be running in the WEC race on Friday.
Yeah.
So again, there's an opportunity for them to learn before they go into the race mm-hmm. on Saturday. So again, that's just same thing. Porsche will have the same advantage too. Mm-hmm. The only team, Porsche will have the same advantage. BMW won't, and Acura won't. Because
is Porsche running in Sebring this week?
Yes, Penske's running 2 cars. They're running 4 cars.
They are.
They have the 4 cars.
That's right.
They have the 4 cars right now.
Okay.
The 4 cars there's 2. Well, I'm sure there's.
Actually, that's another good point too of why I think Porsche will do well this weekend.
Yeah, and I also think that it's going to be a benefit to Cadillac as well.
Yeah.
But we get to see the Ferraris.
Yep.
Yes.
The Toyotas.
Yeah, all the hypercars.
That's the thing. There's the car you haven't talked about is Toyota.
Yeah.
And seeing the hypercar.
Because this is the thing. It's like Toyota. I mean, I like the cars, or I like all the cars that are in there. But I think the headline that's probably being missed is Toyota should be the favorite to win because they've had the car developed, and it's not their first year.
Trust me.
So
they are. I honestly believe that they are trying to figure a way to get that into IMSA.
I would hope so.
I think like this year, if you got a hypercar, which is not which is different from LMDH, your best bet this year is run WEC. That way you can get, because the BOP at the end of the season gets shared, and they can develop the baseline BOP for next year. And at that point, Toyota then can decide, do we bring one car here?
You would probably brand it as a Lexus.
It would be branded as a Lexus.
Not that you would.
No,
not that you
because
wouldn't
Toyotas
need
are
to.
sold here, but
Yeah.
the branding exercise would be, if we run as a Toyota here,
Yeah.
That takes away from our efforts in NASCAR.
Because it would also it would line up
Nate?
anyways with their Lexus GT3 car that they run.
Exactly.
Here. So
The
similar
more sports car
how
centric.
Acura does with their program.
Right, Nate? Would you
Right.
Yeah.
Well, because Acura's with Honda, Cadillac, Chevrolet. I mean, I see the trend. It would be branded as Lexus.
I mean, see, Honda's in a tough spot because Acura is really only here in the U.S. And Acura is. I'm an Acura fan. I'm a Honda fan. I love Hondas, but I'm a huge Acura fan. I mean, just when they introduced the Acura Integra, I thought that was the best thing going.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's an awesome little sports car. Anyone could have. It was a little higher end, but it was cheaper than a BMW. It was a great car, but they're performance driven. They were always on the track, things like that. So I'm all for that. And they're in a very hard spot because Acura is predominantly a North America brand. So to go overseas, they're going to have to run it as a Honda.
Right.
So and the other thing that's even more amazing is that the Acura that's all funded out of the U.S.
Well,
it's Honda. No, it's all out of Torrance.
No. I'm just thinking about this race at Le Mans. Like all of the LMP2 cars that were in that field were all Acuras.
They were Hondas. They're not Acuras. The Acura is not a brand that's sold over there.
Were they not?
Yeah,
Listed as that.
they were listed.
I just remember,
when the Patron car was there.
Yeah.
It might have been listed as an Acura, but it was they branded it as a Honda.
Because regardless,
it was an ALMS car, basically.
Regardless, like the car name hasn't changed. Because right now it's the ARX06 for this current GTP car. But back then those cars were like the 01s.
Yeah.
So
I think it's going to be, I don't know. I think it's going to be, Sebring's going to be great because it's going to be, that's where the convergence happens in terms of, we're going to get to see hypercars and the comparison of a hypercar to an LMDH car in class, but also the next day.
Right.
Right.
Not even the next day. You can just look at practice times and qualifying times.
Yeah. So it's going to be awesome. Hopefully, I really hope that Toyota sees this as an opportunity to bring their car here.
Yeah.
Because whether it's as a Lexus, who cares? I don't care. It's just another car in the field to play. We know Ferrari's going to be here.
Yeah.
We're the biggest. The U.S. North America is the biggest market. They, the gravitas that they have in terms of that Risi wants to run the car.
Right.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. There's enough suitors to run that car in terms of, quality professional teams. So we'll see what happens, but it's exciting. It really is. And it's for those going to Sebring, it's going to be the very lucky folks to go to that race and see all of these cars on the track at the same time, and things like that. So from that standpoint, big shout out to the guys from Meyer Shank for they're winning the race. That was a very good driver lineup. It was deep.
Oh yeah.
Blomqvist did a great job in qualifying, did a great job finishing the race. Colin Brown, I think, was for the majority of the race was their star driver. For the majority of the race, he was the one that put in some of the epic stints overnight and things like that. Both Helio and Simone did exactly what you expect those guys to do. They're solid pros. No mistakes, kept the car in the running and that. And then, Taylor just those guys came on at the end of the race. How many times have you seen that?
Oh yeah, no, and especially with just the format that it is. I mean, I'm not shocked that they were able to
fight back and finish.
Yeah.
I was literally at one point. I know when we kind of convened on Sunday to watch the race, they were down I think 2 laps, and I think within 2 hours of us watching, we were like, oh my god, they're back on the lead lap. Again, that's how they do things. They do a great job of managing issues and problem solving and getting the race done. So, just definitely looking forward to Sebring.
For sure.
They were known as Acuras.
Were they Acuras?
Yeah.
I know here when they ran ALMS, they were Acuras.
I mean, they can also be known as HPD.
Right. I think the HPD was kind of the prominent thing. During this race.
Yeah.
But those cars are in Torrance.
Yes. No. I get that.
We saw that show.
Yeah.
The Hoonigan show when they went to pick the motor up.
Yeah. That was that's
pretty
a cool
crazy.
shot.
So another thing, just kind of add to the racer.com videos that have been out there that Marshall Pruitt did.
GTP 101s.
101s, those fantastic. If you want to watch some great insight and some just Marshall breaks it down in very much layman's terms and does a great job of doing that. I can't speak enough of it. The
one thing, and I was talking to you about this too earlier in the week. The one thing that I found really interesting was there's a virtual fuel tank that they have.
Yeah.
So
did you hear about this, Nate?
The virtual fuel tank?
Yeah. This was crazy.
So like when they come to pit, they're not necessarily running out of gas. They're running out of total power they're allowed to use.
Yeah.
So basically, there's a number that IMSA put out. I think it's 920 megajoules
or something. Yeah.
And per lap, this is the number that's more interesting to me. Per lap, they used 30 megajoules.
Right.
Of battery power. So, which for me, the comparison I'm trying to make is for the LMP1 class
back in the day.
Yeah,
so we're talking
6 years ago.
6 years ago, we're talking Porsche, Audi, Toyota at their height of
Gotcha.
LMP1.
The way the rules were written.
This was crazy.
The way the rules were written was through some of the years they upped the power they could use.
The megajoules.
But they started with like 4.
It went to at the end it was 10.
Up to 10.
10.
So these guys are using 3 times the amount of electric hybrid power.
So now you can see based on that you can understand why manufacturers are, because what manufacturers are looking for is a balance between the internal combustion engine and a hybrid system. Well, that's what they're looking for.
I think the other draw with this is the fact that it's a blessing and curse at the same time. The hybrid or the electric power on the car is a spec part from IMSA or
it's actually Williams.
It's from Williams Engineering. Well, and Bosch.
Bosch has the
So between the two companies, that's the one part on the car that is spec. Everything else is designed by the teams or the manufacturers.
Yes.
So, which is good because you didn't have to worry about it. You just have to integrate it into your car and make it work. The bad part is if it fails, you don't have the control over that part's reliability. You're reliant on the testing that the OEM company has done to make sure that it survives and doesn't fail on you. So, because some teams were saying to change out the battery, it takes like 45 minutes to an hour if you have an issue with that, and then if you have a problem with the MGU in the back, it's like 2 hours, I think. Yeah, so it's just like if one of those pieces go wrong, like you're in the garage for a long time.
Right, and I saw when Marshall did his one-on-ones with some of the factory teams, he did the one with the Acura guys. Mm-hmm. So he did Bloomquist, Ricky Taylor, and Simone Pagenaud, and
Colin Brown, not Ricky Taylor.
No, it was with Ricky.
I'm sorry.
One. Yeah.
They all drive Acuras.
Right. So they one of the things that Ricky Taylor was pointing out was, and it was really interesting, was the number of battery packs that the Acura has, as well as this monster ECU, which is like, it's amazing. It's just the technology in these things is crazy. I thought the technology in 2016 when we were at Le Mans was amazing. Now it's like, this is crazy. So I'm kind of it was, like I said, it was fascinating to see this. One of the classes we should really kind of finish on is LMP2.
Yeah, talk about a finish.
Talk about a finish, but I'm hoping that they'll unleash the cars a little bit more.
That'll probably come as the GTP
season,
class
matures.
Understood better.
Right, because the race that these guys put on in LMP2 was fantastic. Yeah, throughout the entire event, and then to come down to the last hour, the two cars were basically.
Well, there's three.
They were three, right? But the second place,
but one outbroke himself.
Yeah, that's true.
Into one,
right? The second place car
at the time,
it was definitely eating into the first place. Similar to last year. I mean, this is amazing. 2 years in a row, LMP2 comes down to a last lap pass, and this time it was a last lap pass in the tri-oval to win by 16 thousandths of a second, which is basically the front splitter.
Yeah.
It was absolutely amazing. I obviously feel bad for the CrowdStrike guys. They did a great job. They were strong effort throughout the race. Yeah. But the Proton guys hung around, and James Allen the kid drove his nuts off.
Smart.
Yeah, he drove his nuts off. and it wasn't like he wasn't going up against an AM driver either. He was going up against Ben Hanley.
At this point, all of your top guys were in the car.
So it was a fantastic finish. Yeah. And that's what I mean. It sucks that you lose a 24-hour race by 16 thousandths of a second, but as a fan, that's amazing.
Well,
and speaks volumes to IMSA and what they did with the LMP2 class.
I mean, Nate, we had a couple of friends there too, and they were.
Oh,
saying
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
they were saying that the whole grandstand was was super loud when they were coming to the line.
Yeah, so that was amazing. So the crowd was epic from what we understand. It was like the largest crowd. It's hard to go to that race. I've been 4 times, sorry. And
pre-lighting.
Twice pre-lighting, twice post-lighting.
But not to the lighting of today.
No, not to the extent today.
Yeah.
But it was more of an infield-centric crowd, because I remember going into the grandstands and we could walk wherever we wanted to and sit, and which was great because you can see the whole. I mean, it's a great venue to see because you can see everything. But it was definitely, the infield was packed. But this time the infield was packed. The grandstands had a large number of fans in the grandstands. They're not going to get Daytona 500 crowd. It's impossible.
Well, no.
No.
That's just a one
because honestly, sometimes the grandstands at the Daytona 500 are the better seats.
Oh yeah.
The further up you go, it's obviously better.
Yes.
The infield it's a party.
Yeah.
It's like being at Sebring. The infield at Daytona 24 hours, again, party. It's but it's a whole experience. We all know from camping. It's being on sports car tracks and stuff and races. It's a fun time.
Yeah.
And it's it was great to see that they had a crowd.
Yeah.
Just fantastic. So I was pleased with that. I think just from some news items that came out from the race, the Windward guys, they had a tough one. The car got totaled in practice on Thursday. Unfortunately, the driver had to go to the hospital and had a back injury that's taken him out of the Bathurst 12 hours this weekend. So hopefully he'll bounce back soon. That's just a tough thing. They trucked the car back in from their shop in Texas, and they were right back in the mix, and then the car broke.
At that same wall.
Yeah, at the same wall. So
Nate, you know that wall pretty well.
No, he knows the pit lane wall pretty well. Inside the pit lane.
You're right.
It's the other side of that wall.
Yeah.
The other side of the wall.
Yeah.
So just got Pruitt.
Right. So, so the winner guys.
Is that the Daytona Wall of Champions? Or
it's kind of like Canada. Yeah, it's like the Wall of Champions.
Where are we getting it?
Yeah. So it was fantastic. I mean, again, but those guys did great. GTD put on a great race, so things like that. What was I going to say? Oh, I think the biggest story, like not outside of the race, and it was I was waiting for this all weekend. Like I had heard that they were going to announce it. I'm like, which is Garage 56. They're going to announce the driver lineup, and I'm sitting there like, when the hell are they going to do this? Like, and I'm like looking, and like no one's got anything breaking. Like, oh, Friday afternoon they're going to do this, and they didn't. Saturday morning it's like race day. I'm like, okay, so maybe they're going to do it then, and. Literally, I was watching the Torque Show with Justin Bell and Tommy Kendall, which is they're the pre-race show. I'm gonna get to NBC in a minute, but whatever they are, that's what we're gonna finish. We're gonna finish on that. But the Torque Show guys had, they did a great job. I don't those guys. They just IMSA just have them do the pre-race.
Yeah.
Have the guys from RSL do the voiceover and then just you can let whoever do the TV production. Okay, I'm going to get to that. But they all of a sudden bring Doonan on, which is great because it's awesome. Like Scott Atherton really kind of did a great job when he was with ALMS, and Scott's kind of corporate, marketing guy. Doonan's kind of like he's like Shank's brother. But he's a little more stiffer in terms of like he's not quite Shank.
Yeah.
And he comes on and he's like, oh yeah, we're talking about the race and we had an exciting announcement at Garage 56, and they're like, and Justin Bell's like, oh, you guys announced it, and he's like, yeah, and they're like, and then Kendall's like, well, I know two of them, and he goes, but I don't know who the third is, and he goes, so they go through the whole thing, so we all. From the social media and stuff, we kind of theorized and kind of had, our thoughts on who it was. Nate was on Jimmy Johnson from day one.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And Mike Rockefeller was kind of the hit after he made his start at Watkins Glen.
Well, yeah, but also when the car started testing, he was kind of the guy that was always in the car.
Yeah.
And then JJ starts getting in the car. I can call him JJ because he and I are, we're tight. But what blew my mind was what came next, because I expected this. So
right?
My two, and Nate, you can. I'm gonna go. I was expecting Jeff Gordon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or Kyle
Hands
Larson.
down.
Or Kyle Larson.
See, I would almost argue probably not, because he's running the full schedule in Cup.
But there's no race.
Again,
is there a race that weekend?
I don't know.
Well, I think a better point is not that there's no race that weekend, but the amount of testing that you would need to get in the car.
So I was kind of going there. Nate, who are you thinking?
I was thinking.
I know you want to say Boris said.
I want to say Boris said, but I also kind of want to say Tony Stewart. Is he too fat for the ride? Or
no,
I don't know.
But is Tony Stewart, are they Chevrolets or are they Toyotas?
Oh, they're Fords. So
they're Fords. All right, so that doesn't work.
Yeah.
What would you think, Christian?
I was thinking Gordon.
You would think. I was thinking Gordon. The only reason I was going off Gordon really was because he did that Porsche Cup race at Indianapolis.
Yeah. And that was prepared from Chad Knaus as well. That was a Chad Knaus prepared Porsche too.
Right. Exactly.
I was freaking Gordon, but not just because of that, but also just like, if you're bringing a NASCAR over, you kind of want star power.
Well, that's what I thought.
If you want to market the car.
Yeah. So I was kind of thinking it was going to be somebody,
But I mean, because when they announced Jimmy Johnson, I'm like, great, good move.
Well, my whole thing was, okay, that's great, because JJ's like, he's driven everything. So,
right.
And I think what they're getting with Rockefeller is they're getting somebody that's been to Le Mans and can, right, yeah, case in point, we're watching them right now. But did I see Jenson Button coming?
No.
Am I excited that Jenson Button's coming?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I really am.
Yeah.
Why? because he's a personality.
Yeah.
And maybe he's someone that wants to dip his toes into Cup.
He alluded to that in an interview today. So,
here it is.
So he does not. His thing is. He's going to be the next Project 91 guy.
That's what I'm saying. Oh man,
is it Project 91 or Team 91? What are they? Are they Project 91
Project 91?
See, you know what?
Yeah.
The only thing better than Jenson Button would have been Kimi Räikkönen. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
If you put Jenson Button. So what if they went 4 drivers and they put Jimmy, and they put Jenson, and then they put Kimi? I mean, it would be.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I think
Kimi would be out there like wrecking LMP cars like left and right. It would be awesome.
Well, I think if you're just going with Kimi, you could also argue Travis. Not that I see him doing it.
I haven't seen Travis do a lot of road racing.
No.
He's done. I mean, he's done rallying.
Well, he's done rallying, but he has done the Xfinity races.
But has he done them on the road course?
He's not that good at the road.
I haven't seen him on the road course.
I'm not arguing that he's good.
But they want a capable road course hands.
Correct.
That's what they want.
Which I think that's probably the piece that I didn't really think of.
Yeah, it blew my mind. When Doonan said Jenson Button, I almost went out of my head.
Yeah.
Like I was like, that is fantastic. Yeah. I was all excited. And then as soon as he said that, I was like, oh, well, guess who's driving for Justin Marks next year?
Yeah.
You know, because he's going to either drive it. He's going to drive Sonoma. He's going to do Sonoma. Oh, wait a minute. Are they going? Cup's not running at Road America, are they?
No, Xfinity is only. I know. I don't know why they took it out.
Can I convince Justin Marks to put a Trackhouse Xfinity car for like Mid Ohio and
Listen,
I guess if
he can win.
If I win Powerball, I'll write the check to Justin. Can you just put an Xfinity car for those races too, please? It was it was. I blew my mind when they said Jenson Button. I was like, and the funny thing was, there's Justin Bell does a podcast called Life with Legends, and it's a fantastic podcast. He obviously started with his dad, and it's all been heroes of racing. He's had Don Perdome, he's had Mario, Brian Redman. He had Tanner Faust on shortly after the death of Ken Block, which was very poignant. It was a great interview. And he had Jenson on. And Jenson's was recorded about 2 weeks ago. And they were talking, Justin was saying how he's going to Le Mans this year. And Jenson said, yeah, I'm still working on that. I might be there. And he's like, oh, you think you had something going? Well, there might be an announcement. And I was like, oh, well, maybe he's going to sneak into some, one of the privateer Porsches or something, because he's driven prototypes there. And then what turns out, it's this, which I think is great because, honestly, there's no pressure on him.
No, and he puts Le Mans in his pocket. He puts NASCAR.
And you can't put
seat time in his pocket.
Honestly, like you can't put two better spokespeople out there, Jimmy Johnson and Jenson Button. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, Rocky's like great because he can just tell you all the technical stuff about the car and stuff. But there's one wild card to this whole thing. Who the backup driver is, the emergency driver, and who's actually taking on more of a test role. JT.
Oh, that's right.
Christian's like, look at Jordan Taylor.
Oh.
Yeah, because he's the guy that's like, in his interview on NBC, he was like, I'm not driver coach, but I am like.
After this came out, but it was in the press release after. I went and found the press release after Doonan said it. So Jordan's definitely. I'm like, oh God.
He could fill in.
Great. Sports Car for Life will be reporting live from Le Mans.
Well, emergency.
Wow. Well, if they decide,
he's with the Corvette. Thing is, he's with Corvette.
Right. That's my
he's not. No, he's not driving in the Vet this year at Le Mans because it's Ben Keating. It's Ben Keating. It's Nicky Katzberg, and it's the guy they just announced. He's the kid. The kid is fantastic. I forget who it is. Damn it. when they announced it, I was like, wow, that's a coup, because they have to play in that GTM rules. So I think what's going to happen with Corvette, you're going to see those guys, Antonio, Jordan, and Milner, probably get split up and put in various customer cars. Mm-hmm. I think that's what you're going to see happening.
Yeah.
Because I think, like, they were talking about, like, the guys from Rebel Rock were saying, oh, we're thinking about buying one. And I'm like, the only guy that's capable of driving that car on that team is Robin Liddell. I mean, Frank DePuy is not Ben Keating.
Yeah.
You know, so, I mean, we'll see what happens. So I think that's what's going to happen. Those guys, who knows? I mean, you never, who knows? Andretti could, like, pick up a Corvette, and the next thing you know, it's like, oh, we got Acuras, and we're doing because they're running a GTD Aston now for Jared Andretti and Gabby Chavez. So, like, what's to say that they can't run a Corvette program? You know, who knows?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you tied in with Cadillac,
I know.
I'm just saying. You know?
Oh, but don't worry, Ford will be here sometime soon.
That's right. Yeah, Ford. We'll get to them next week on our next week's podcast and their badging exercise that Toto, apparently he's okay with Ford doing it. It's not good if Andretti has Cadillac. So, anyways, I digress.
He's taking his words back. He's kind of been like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
They can come.
Yeah. So, before we take off, I just want to take a shot and fire it right across the bow of NBC and somewhat IMSA. You guys got to get it together with your TV broadcast. That was shambolic.
Sorry.
Way too many commercials at the beginning.
IMSA TV.
There's a difference between IMSA TV and what we're talking about. Okay,
right.
IMSA has gotten into bed with...
It's the TV deal for the U.S. specifically.
Specifically that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, in years prior, you subscribed to Peacock, and you got the full stream ad-free.
Correct.
Okay, so when they were doing it live, not on Peacock, when they would go to overnight to Peacock, it was like 24/7. It was fine.
Yeah.
When they would drop off to go to an ad on the national broadcast on the regular TV, regular cable or whatever it was, Peacock would be ad-free, streaming live. Yeah. And it was always good because sometimes somebody left a hot mic on. Yeah. And you would get an F-bomb or something. It was awesome. Yeah. So, which was great. Somewhere along the line...
But again, you paid for no commercials.
Right. Or you're on Xfinity and you get Peacock.
Correct.
Okay.
Now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, somewhere along the line, somebody made the brilliant decision this year that Peacock was going to be an ad-based thing. And we were going to be subjugated to the ads, which I was sitting there watching the race, start of the race, and I'm like going along. We're all texting each other, watching the race, and then it dawned the first time it happened, I didn't really pay attention to it
because the first time it happened was when the first caution came
right,
out.
And I just thought, oh, maybe they forgot, right? Because sometimes that happens,
right?
Yeah,
but they came back from the caution and literally.
They went one lap of green.
I don't even know if they went one lap of green.
They went one lap of green.
We were into an ad out of nowhere, and we were like the amount of F-bombs and
5 minutes.
5 minutes. The amount of F-bombs and WTFs that were going on the. I mean, I'm surprised that Verizon hasn't shut my text line down. Was amazing. So I'm like, get it sorted out. I don't care. I will pay for an app, okay? Because I pay for the WEC app.
Well, and this
so I can watch the races.
And this is the thing, because as we were looking, well, then I went to the wonderful world that is Twitter.
Yes,
and
which was fantastic.
I found it was either NBC or Peacock, whichever one of them was put up a promotional thing of catch the race on here. Great. I go immediately to the subtweets, and then same thing on their Facebook page. I went to the comments there.
Oh.
I could not find one comment that was anywhere good that just said, great, awesome race, can't wait to watch it, whatever. Every single comment was, I can't believe I'm paying for this shit. And the one that I kind of was looking for was when I went onto Peacock to make sure that that we had because when you have Xfinity, you get Peacock Premium with it, which is what that you paid for anyways last year, or the year before Xfinity and Peacock had this deal. So then as I was looking at the subscriptions that Peacock had, they had added Premium Plus, and I was like, that's a
like, what is this?
This is a gimmick. Like you can't just make a new step that's twice the amount per month to now get ad free. Well, I keep looking through the comments and the subtweets and find out even Premium Plus was getting ads.
Yeah.
So it wasn't because someone was like, "Is it worth it to upgrade it just to not have it?" And they were like, "No."
No.
Because one of them was, "I just did that and still the same shit."
And you know what was crazy was I watched the so I watched the VP Fuels 2 races on the weekend before.
Yes, the GT4 and the
the bronze driver, the gentleman driver class races. Yep. I watched those. They were all on Peacock. No problems, no ads, no nothing. Yep. Fantastic. I watched the Michelin Pilot race on Friday. No ads, no nothing. They would drop off, go do their ads because when they show the race, all good. And I get to Saturday, and the next thing the thing that blew my mind was they literally dropped and went to an ad. It must have been one lap because all I remember was they were going into turn 1 and it like dropped off, and I was like, "What is this?" I mean, I'm sorry, but you guys got to get it together. Like, seriously, it's brutal. You can't live like that.
No, and I think an hour and a half in, I wasn't paying attention to the race. I ended up turning on IMSA radio or Radio Le Mans because those guys, you can still listen to it 24/7.
You just have to visualize it.
Right, you got to visualize it.
Right.
But what I used to do before NBC Sports had so
you would kind of sync it with the TV.
I would sync it with the TV because the radio would run
ahead,
like 20 seconds ahead or whatever.
You had to wait.
But I also enjoyed the insight from the radio or the IMSA radio guys because they had a lot more interesting stuff that they were talking about.
Right.
And versus the TV guys.
Yeah.
And just personal preference.
They were going to get interviews, people who drop in the booth.
Right.
You had the
well, then not
the best part is Hindhaugh and Shaw. Just like Jeremy's like, "John, you're wrong."
Right. No. But they've also been.
And then John would be like, "Oh, you're right, Jeremy."
Yeah, but they've been doing that since mid 2000s.
Well, it's
for a while.
With radio
across the bandwidth that is RSL.
So I mean, you're talking about a consistent crew, that knows each other very well and knows a lot about the sport,
and also knows people in the paddock,
correct,
in the pit lane, and can get interviews.
And it's not that the NBC guys don't know anyone in the pit lane either, because they can get them, they can get all that stuff too. But it is.
But I don't need to listen to Steve Letarte and Jeff Burton on the pit. What the hell is that thing? The pit box? What is that?
It's
NASCAR personalities at IMSA.
NASCAR personalities.
It's still very celebrity. And honestly, like when they do the coverage of like the Indy 500 versus other Indy races, there's this special additive that they put in there. I'm like, I don't need to be any more special. The event is special for what it is. You, the TV coverage, aren't special.
Right.
Give me the race.
I get it. They got Dale Jr. on. Dale Jr. is a crossover personality. I get it. Danica is a crossover personality. For me, I don't need either one of them on the show. I'm not knocking them. I just don't need them there. I'd much rather have Townsend Bell there for the Indy 500.
Right.
Or James Hinchcliffe. Or I'm not joking. I'd much rather have Paul Tracy.
Yeah.
And I mean,
and you want to hear something else too? Like Kenny Wallace would be even a better personality because he's actually done a 24 Hours a Daytona, and Jeff Burton's just not even.
I like it when like Parker Kligerman was on.
Yeah.
The pit crew guys are all good. Dylan Welch is good. Kevin Lee's good. They brought in the new woman they brought in.
Dylan Welch's wife.
Is that who that is?
Newhouse or something.
Is that his wife?
They just got married. Yeah.
Wait a minute. So what is that? Are we got nepotism going on there?
I guess.
Is that his wife? I mean, she was good.
Sean, they just got hitched.
I know they were. And he was at the Chili Bowl 2 weeks ago, so running.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Oh well, they were there too.
His dad's Vince Welch, right?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Why can't they bring Vince on? Vince is good. He's not doing NASCAR anymore.
Well, I didn't really care for him in the Truck Series.
Can we bring that back of team bosses going to going to other teams' pits? We just watched in this Le Mans recap the Audi LMP1 tried to go around a BMW GT car and he just picked the wrong side.
Dr. Ulrich went down there.
But the Audi's team boss just went down and just mouthed off at BMW.
Can he come over and work on Haas too? So we could have Gunther.
No. He's going to be at Sauber.
No. I was just saying that him and Gunther would be good.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's right.
I like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, but you guys got a race tonight, right?
Yeah, eventually. But the other thing.
Sorry.
Actually,
as we record this,
you're good.
I just NBC, like IMSA, let's get it together in the States because that was shambolic. It really was. It was insulting. I don't even know where to go. I can't wait for Marshall's racer mailbag next week because there is going to be millions of lines and threads of hate. It's
true.
I get ads pay the bills, but wow.
Can we not just get an app and what? I'm a hardcore race fan. I mean, I spent $150 and bought the Flow TV thing so I could watch the Chili Bowl. And granted, it was I watched I think 2 hour. The most I watched was Saturday night, which was the finals. Yeah. But I was at least watching a minimum of an hour to 2 hours each night leading into it. Yeah. So over a 7-night thing. So I look at it as how much would I paid for a ticket to that? I easily would have spent $150. Right.
So
but now I have it for the rest of the season. I can watch dirt car racing, sprint car racing, which I like.
And that's a perception I don't think everyone has either.
I know.
I don't think people look at it as I pay for the streaming service versus buying a ticket to go to the event.
I mean, if I go to Lime Rock for a weekend, I think a weekend ticket's about $100 and something. Yeah. Okay, which is a steal. I mean, to get us in for 3 days.
Friday, Saturday.
It's 2 days of racing, but it's we're in there for 4 days or whatever. But at the end of the day, if I paid $150 for an IMSA TV package for the year.
For the year.
Yeah. Okay? It's like, what are you guys, what are you thinking? Because I pay the same freight for the WEC thing, and the reason I do it is more so just for Le Mans.
Right.
But, I mean, it's because I'm not flying over there, and I want to, but I'm like, guys.
Right.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. It really.
That was horrendous.
And even on just the stuff on NBC, it's it's so stop pandering to the NASCAR fan. Will you please stop and get them? Seriously, I mean, it's just I don't really need this is again NASCAR at its greatest. The hoo-ha that is NASCAR, which is Steve Letarte, Jeff Burton. I don't care. Don't want to hear from you guys. You guys have no concept.
No.
No. They don't bring anything to the table.
Like what? Just someone to fill in the shift? Is that what they're trying to do?
Put Hinch in the pit box for 25 hours. I don't care. I mean, he'll sit there. He doesn't care. Could have brought Rossi on. That would have been even better. The two of them could have done their podcast. They could have done their podcast from there. It would have been fantastic. Yeah. Then they could have sent Townsend down there, I mean, as Christian said at one point, the best part of the NBC broadcast is when it goes to Peacock overnight, and it's like the graveyard shift with the guys that are on, which is Rick Allen. Is it Rick Allen? No, is it Rick Allen?
I don't know. There was
anyways, not Rick Allen. He's on
within like the first 2 hours. There was a moment where they were like, "All right, yeah, let's ride on board the Action Express Cadillac," and literally for 30 seconds, peaceful bliss of just the car going around.
Yeah,
no commentary. But then wait, commercial.
Yep. So, or would you come back, Steve Letarte? I love endurance racing.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, yeah. No wonder. I like NASCAR races too because I love 6-hour NASCAR races too.
Yeah, the way if you watched it on NBC Sports, you got green flag drop and then it's finished, it's over.
Oh, then you got never mind.
Because you just had 23 hours of
the lead announcer. Oh God. Anyways. Jesus God! I just sit there and I watched like a 1985, I watched a 1992 race that Marshall kind of redid and put out there for an IMSA race, and it was Bob Varsha, and I was like, oh, thank God! It was like so much better.
It took him 45 minutes to mention willpower.
Willpower.
Yeah.
Willpower.
And the
did he talk about Scott McLaughlin? Like, yeah, he talked about them because their car fell out literally in the first hour.
My God.
First lap of the race.
Yeah, and then
first minute.
Yeah, and I'm going.
I couldn't believe
why do these teams start these guys like it? I just I know they want to get the guy. Put somebody in. Jesus.
Yeah.
Anyways, Hugh de Schoenack. There's another one. Anyways, So
hey Sean, I could share similar feelings.
It's just brutal. It really is.
It is.
It's just
disgusting.
Like
you're doing a disservice to the IMSA fan.
It's
NASCAR's on a downward slope. Yeah.
Well, it's not. It's not that they do the same thing like Christian said at the Indy 500. It's like let's stop making it an event. Well, I know it's an event.
It is an event, but don't overhype the event. Just do what you do because that's what makes it.
Let the race tell the story. Yeah. I mean, that's what the RSL guys do. That's what the guys on Speed did. Yeah. The race told the story.
Yeah.
Until we got the diminutive Australian involved. Diminutive. Remember? Like he always likes to use that word. The diminutive. Or young Jordan Taylor. Like, shut up.
Anyways.
Anyways.
This weekend.
What?
Here we are.
We got Bathurst this weekend.
Yeah, Bathurst this weekend.
Yeah,
12 hours.
Yep. Kangaroos will be on the track. Love it. Yeah. And then I know Nate's jonesing for this. The Clash at the Coliseum.
That's a whole conversation.
Yeah, that's a whole conversation.
That's a whole conversation.
Nate, I heard
that may not appear on this podcast.
Nate, I heard you're excited for the halftime show that's there.
Oh, what's the halftime show?
I don't know.
We got some more rap groups.
No.
Who
was
it last year? Was it Dr. Dre last year?
No, last year was Ice Cube.
No,
Ice Cube. That's right. That's
Ice
right.
Cube.
Yeah, I heard.
Okay,
I heard
Rob
Lowe. Is Rob Lowe actually the Grand Marshal?
Yes.
Rob Lowe.
Yeah, that's the thing.
He's like my age and
did movies back NFL hat on
back in the 80s. That's great. I don't even know what Rob.
I know him from Parks and Rec.
That's fine. But I mean, again, I don't know what relevance he brings. I don't know what relevance he brings to the race.
They're in LA. They're trying. They're trying to put
TV
personalities and someone.
So
bring a different fan base to NASCAR.
Right. Is this hopefully the last year they'll be there and then they go to Daytona and they'll run without?
Sean,
what?
They should be at Daytona, but again, that's a whole conversation.
No restrictor plates. Race and if they go into the fence, I don't care. That's what I want to. Open face helmets. Teams are in their sponsors slacks like the Coca-Cola guys.
Right. Like it's not restricted to have a beer or a cigarette
while you're fueling the car. That's fantastic. I don't want that. No pit lane speed limit either. I just want all that good stuff. Truex would be like, I'm in.
Truex would be like the winner at the end of the day.
And of course, Logano will be
Ryan Newman comes back from retirement.
Yeah, Logano will be like, that's unsafe. That's good, Joey. Go away.
Yeah. Is it the end of stage 1 yet?
Yes, it is. Can I have a Coke? Coke and a smile, because that's what I do.
Yeah, Austin Dillon.
Austin Dillon, his waxed eyebrows. Is he back for season 2?
What show?
Whatever his show was with his wife.
Oh, you want to keep up with that show?
No, I don't want to keep up with that show, Nate. Please don't.
Yeah, keeping up with the Dylans.
Yeah, keeping up with
Is
the
that the new name?
It's like what's that family that the husband and wife got thrown in the can for like the Cressleys or whatever they were. There was those hillbilly rubes that went to Beverly Hills, and they got the guy got thrown. The husband and wife got thrown in the can for 12 years for fraud.
What?
It was awesome. I was like,
Who?
I don't know. There was some internet sensation. We should get my daughter Alyssa on. She'll know. She's our social media expert. Anyways, but anyways, I just. Yeah, I know we went on a rant there at the end, but I couldn't let that go. But I think from a racing standpoint, I think IMSA's off to a strong start. I think they've resonated with the teams, the fans, the manufacturers. So great to see. Hopefully they'll get their TV stuff together.
Yeah.
And for those of you who want to invest in a VPN.
Right? Yeah. I already made the switch. We'll not be
cut the cord and find a VPN.
We will not be watching any more IMSA races.
Or as Christian says, go on Reddit NBC. And you can find something.
You can find anything. You can find anything on Reddit.
Thousands of threads of hate. Anyways, so
Team LH.
All right, so we're Team LH. We got to get the Mohawk on. We got to get him on here.
Yeah, please. We need to episode with them.
Oh my God. Anyway, so we are off. The season's off and running. We had a great show last week. We appreciate Jim Paulette coming on and talking about New England Karting Challenge.
Yeah.
Yes.
Powered with pride.
Yes.
I said powered by pride.
Powered by pride.
No.
It's powered with pride.
With pride.
Powered with
and
pride.
Jim's been out on social media during the week, putting more information out. So
and he already has a pretty good entry list in that.
The ice race.
That ice race.
Oh, jeez.
So I will definitely be there Friday night. So, not racing, but I will be watching.
Is a friend from Rhode Island running?
Yes.
He is.
There's also Mr. Hollywood that might be there too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is the Rhode Island friend renting the cart from Hollywood?
I don't know. I haven't asked too many details, unless they want to share.
I like Hollywood. So. I like that name. Well, that's good. I won't unfortunately be able to get to it. So when is that?
It's in March.
Is it?
It's the 10th and 11th.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm going.
No,
I'm skiing.
Okay,
sorry. I got to make up.
Is it?
No, it's fine.
Hey, hang on.
Sorry.
So is it a certain Alex Gomez?
Who?
Gomes?
Who?
The Rhode Island.
I don't know. I don't know who you talk about.
Oh,
it might be. Oh, you mean he sometimes participates in this podcast as a co-host? Yes. That'd be honestly
one out of 39 times.
No, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah,
that's more than he's been on. Never mind.
Oh wow! Yeah, I had an idea where you're going.
Right. Shots fired on that bombshell.
Oh, it's like beating a dead horse.
That was kind of like that was.
All right,
that was kind of like my State of the Union. Anyways, a lot of inside jokes there for everybody, but appreciate everyone hanging in there. Hope everyone enjoyed that. Watched the Daytona 24.
Yeah,
watch it if you can. Find the Bathurst 12 hours.
It should be on YouTube.
It will be on YouTube. What you need to do is you're going to be up from about 7 o'clock Saturday night till about 7 o'clock Sunday morning. Yes. So you will love it. The Kangaroos may make an appearance on the track.
Yeah, for anyone.
Hopefully they won't be flying over Ferrari or something like that.
For anyone that hasn't caught on to it, the race is in Australia.
Yes, at Bathurst.
Yeah, Mount Panorama.
And if you have not seen Mount Panorama, wow, what a track. Anyways, Excellent. And anybody else is looking for something really good about the Daytona LMDH cars? Honda put out one, Acura put one out about the ACR ARX 06. They put one out. It's fantastic. A lot of great insight. So especially if you're wanting to learn about the engineering of the car. So, but anyways, and then Nate will have a recap of. We'll keep it to about 5 minutes of the Clash.
Yeah, we'll have the timer on.
Is that about 3? Yeah. How much TV time are they allotting for that? 3 hours?
Yeah, well, you know what? They're even getting like qualifying heats and then the main event. Like it's really. I'm shocked of how much airtime.
Like the Chili Bowl goes all week, and this may take more time.
They made a weekend out of it.
Oh God. Anyways. Wow. All right. Well, is the Rick Ware racing car going to be in it?
If they qualify in it, yeah.
But don't you have to get invited to the Clash?
Oh, Sean.
It's not what it used to be.
They screwed it up.
Because it used to be if you won.
It's everybody now. It's the participation trophy race now. Like it's not. It wasn't like it was like pole sitters before and like whatever.
Yeah. It was I think it was pole sitters or race winners.
Like pole winners.
Yeah. All right.
Well, Daytona winners.
All right. Well, anyways, we've gone on a little bit too far, but appreciate everyone taking the time to tune in, listen to the podcast. Hit the subscribe button, like it. Appreciate it if you could leave a comment, and we'll talk to you next week.
Good night.
Thank you guys for listening to the Red Mist Podcast, hosted by Christian Abbott, Sean Abbott, and Nathan Lavin. It's produced by Christian Abbott, and music is by Alex Wart and Harrison Tate.